Hello, and welcome back to another RiftGuides WildRift video. I'm Kirks, your local resident griefer, and today we are going to take a look at Yone. And here we have a Yone jungle gameplay. I started with a dagger. You see the build in the bottom left. Just take a good look. There's everything you need. All of these builds will always be uploaded to Patreon, and if you want them, you can basically get our Patreon. We also have some more stuff there, but we are launching relatively soon. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So, when it comes to Yone jungle, your champion is a very cool champion in the sense of clearing early game for free camps. Because then there's something you can do to absolutely piss off the enemy mid laner. And the secret here is just stacking your first ability. Needlessly to say, you can obviously do this better here. You can always be more efficient when clearing jungle. But you can't really do anything about your lanes getting absolutely destroyed. You see, the Darius is losing, the Nyla is losing bot lane, and my mid laner is also having some trouble. But there's one thing that will change the entirety of this, and all you have to do is understand what your champion can do. And now take a good look at this lovely chicken camp, and what I'm about to do once this is nearly cleared. So, I will use my first ability, I'll skill my third ability here, and now I will stack my first ability again. Then when it's fully stacked, I saw that the Echo used second ability, so I'll go closer and I'll hunt him down with the help of my Twisted Fate. He even goes for a sketchy play, tries to execute the Twisted Fate, and it nearly would have worked. But now the wave is in a state where I have to help him, because if Kha'Zix is here, he just dies, and Kha'Zix is here, jumps forward and gets the kill, and I can't really change anything about this. So I have to finish pushing this wave. And after finishing to push this wave, I now transition to the top left side of the map to take away the camps. And it's very confusing that Kha'Zix didn't clear this, even though he probably had just slightly enough time, or maybe he just, I assume he just did free camps and then walked into the gank. But yeah, it's all fine for us. The Pantheon and the Lucian bot lane are absolutely dominating the Nyla and the Yuumi. And it's just a painful sight to see, because if you don't understand, like, Nyla needs to press a second ability when Pantheon jumps on you, and then you mitigate basically all the incoming damage. If you don't do this, you just die, which is a big problem. And when it comes to jungle clearing, use your abilities to just dash around, leash the camps early, and give yourself some extra time. It would be a pain if you don't do this, and I can't really change anything about this. The Darius even flashes and hooks the other person over the wall to then just randomly die. It is truly a very interesting thing that is happening here, especially with Kha'Zix gameplay, considering that he was on the other side of the map, and then just enjoyed his time. But here again, I see him cast his ability, I move forward, hit him with a stun, he has ult, he immediately has to ult away, we get this ult for free, and all I invested was a few seconds. I just walked mid lane with my third stack of my first ability, and that allowed myself to basically punish the Echo. And now the Pantheon is rotating mid, going for a play on my Twisted Fate. I have to instantly react and port upwards. And here what I do now is I stack my ability again, and I can look for a potential play. You see me go there instantly. The Pantheon is griefing, he just wants too much, he completely forgets about the existence of the jungle role. And now we're here again. And now you see something very, like, here I'm just holding this ability and I wanted to cancel, like you see? I wanted to cancel the ability, I just wanted to hold it just in case that the Twisted Fate wasn't able to reach with an ult attack, so I just guaranteed a kill. Sadly, I misclicked my ult and everything turned into a very unfortunate situation. But, it's fine. And immediately after, we just go back to jungle clearing. Like, whenever I play jungle, it's just very important to me to just be efficient with just jungle clearing. Jungle clearing is the most effective, the most consistent source of income. Jungle camps will always be there unless they're being taken away. And for the enemy to take them away, they need to capitalize on mistakes. Let's say you go for a play and you die, then the enemy has access to your camps, and now the mid lane is getting dove 100-0 from the Pantheon. It's having so much damage, and it's just, you just can't really do anything about this. Twisted Fate doesn't have the damage to deal with this. I'm just sitting here denying the Echo some access to plates. But my Darius is having fun with the crab. And as you see, this game looks very, very, very dire. And what did the enemy jungle do so far? He walked mid lane, got a kill because TF was maybe a little bit too close. Then he walked top lane and got another kill. But all of these people were already losing. There's not much that can be done about this. But here again, you see me transition into the river with my first ability stacked so I can capitalize on this play. Making sure to do as much damage as possible and now instantly going for the Herald after I've seen that the enemy is on the dragon. Not wasting a single second. And my Elgato just said, nope, not today, and now the colors are completely doomed. Welcome to the Elgato way of life. But yeah, I wouldn't waste a single second. I just want to go for this instantly so the enemy doesn't get this, and it grants me even more gold. My team is kind of upset now. They want to surrender, even though, like, you know, they're like horrendously griefing the entirety of the game. There's nothing you can do about this. Jungle roll, life. Just have to continuously farm. Walking back to my chicken camp, getting another stack, ulting forward. The Kha'Zix is griefing. Gets one tap. The Echo as well. Nearly dies. And we just go back here and go back to farming. The Nyla is currently making a play down there, but we don't have the HP to help out, so we just have to be very careful. And we now go back to farming. As you see on the minimap, the Lucian is pathing back, so we have to keep that in mind. And I don't know what the Lucian is trying to do, but now I just E forward, and then he dashes over the wall, tries to chase after me. I just need to play for distance. He just flashes after me, being so angry, and doesn't get me killed. Well, he is indeed fuming. Out B2. And now we have an absolute insane power spike. We have Solari Charge Blade. And we'll go for BT here. The reason I'm going for BT is just more added sustain. I really don't want to die randomly and I want some extra source of sustain simply because I don't have anything from my items and runes because I'm running Alacrity. Alacrity, Zerker Greaves, and Solari Charge Blade give me so much attack speed, and the Kha'Zix jumps in again. He just hasn't learned from his lessons, and I just run after him because I know the Echo will always ult, so I just have to target the Kha'Zix. Hunt him down, enable my TF to go for another free kill. Now I'll clear the red buff and go for the Lucian down there, hoping to get him because he's overextending. And again, you see the typical thing, I walk there, I get my first ability stack, then I get there, I miss the spell, but he starts fighting with me after red buff, so he exhausts me too late and my champion's damage is just beyond dumb. Now the Pantheon is really furious, he's just walking at me again menacingly. While my Yuumi gets close to me, I didn't even realize he would actually do this, like, because it's absolutely suicidal to this, but given the fact how he played so far, he is an absolute maniac. He just doesn't care. And now at this point, I'm so unbelievably fed. And I just have to make sure to mitigate the damage that has been done by my teammates. Getting more gold, denying the enemy access for more gold, and here's something very important. You don't want to just walk in and get yourself stunned by the Fiora when she uses her second ability, because the Twisted Fate is walking up, and obviously with him walking up, it might be a little bit dangerous since he's holding his yellow card, and if you get riposted, you just get stunned for no reason, so you just keep your third ability, you just quickly jump away, and then go back with your first stack of your first ability. Quickly removing the sound here because, well, you know how it goes, software always crashes. My Elgato crashed again, my recording software crashed while recording this, and everything went to well. Let's just call it, it just went to shit for no reason. But here, we take away the enemy resources. As per usual, cookie cutter gameplay. Whenever we see the enemy make a play on the other side of the map, and by the time the Echo invested, we saw him here, so we know that our bottom side camps are available. Like, by the way, he pathed up here and the time he spent, we know every single camp is there, we can collect every single bit, and since we're running Overgrowth, we get so much extra value out of this. Now we go back to the mid lane, go for a quick play here, the Pantheon jumps us, but the Twisted Fate ultimate comes in, we turn into the Pantheon, we immediately execute him, and we just have so much damage. Now, always keep in mind, downtime is your enemy. You want to always do something. Get money, don't waste time, always have your first ability stacked up to go for proactive plays, restack it as you use your first ability, third ability, and then go for something else again. Anything you do, you can just be so much more efficient with it, and my Twisted Fate here goes for a beautiful stun card, but my Nyla, just for some reason, does something very well, interesting. But now we go in for a nice play, we catch the Kha'Zix, then we turn onto the Echo. Maybe we can get him killed, no we don't, but then we just turn immediately for the Dragon. So, given my HP bar, there are multiple plays available. Since the enemy jungle is dead and we see multiple people on the map and they were low HP, I just go for the Dragon to deny them the possibility of a soul, even though it doesn't really matter too much. And if I was healthier, I would have done the Dragon, I would have invaded afterwards, and then gone back to my camps. But it was just way too risky, given the amount of gold I had in my pocket as well. It was just simply not worth dying for. And now I'm going for Divine Sundra. You can also make the argument that I could have gone for Death's Dance, simply for its tankiness and armor properties, helping me to not get tapped when I go in. But the Divine Sundra helps me gain more sustain since I already have Bloodthirster, and add some more HP to my HP pool since I already have Overgrowth. Another item I could go for a little bit later would be Stark's Gauge. It's very powerful since I gain so much health from runes, and now my Nyla is again in absolute trouble for whatever reason, and I stack up my spell up again, go over the wall with my first ability, and then go for the Pantheon with my ultimate. Like, you see, Yone can reach so far on a low cooldown. Some people even prefer going Navori Quickblades on this champion, and here I see the Kha'Zix running into his jungle, and I obviously don't want to let him get anything. And now somebody has to deal with the Fiora on the other side of the map. Like, I don't need backup here, we just need somebody to deny the Fiora and allow us to create some space on the map. The issue is, it's very difficult to deal with her, but the Lucian walks up again trying to clear the ward and exhausts me for whatever reason, but he apparently had vision because he was able to dodge my Q3. Now the Nyla is having some trouble down there, and somebody needed to be there. I believe Twisted Fate was the one to be down there, because he can always rejoin a fight with the ultimate ability, and whenever we overextend on one side of the map, they can just punish us severely with the global, and since we have to answer the Fiora, it's just too risky. Now the enemy has the freest Baron Nashor on the planet, and look what I'm doing now. I'm walking to my chicken camp because it's the only way to allow myself to get close enough to maybe make the difference. So I'll walk up here, E over the wall, Q upwards. Before even something happens, I get stunned, I get completely blasted, and I get away with my E, but the Echo flashes after me and I barely survive. I got so lucky, and just thanks to the power of Divine Sundra giving me so many stats, as well as Overgrowth, I was able to survive here. Me dying could have completely changed the course of the game, because number one, I would have not have access to my camps, lost gold, I would have given the enemy a bazillion gold, and I could not have pushed his wave here. Which is a big problem, or would have been a big problem. My team is fighting the enemy in the enemy jungle for whatever reason, but it's working out apart from the fact that our AD carry just died again. But now we've reached a point where the Twisted Fate and the Yuumi constantly one-tap people with a gold card. Like, gold card, first ability, auto attack, goodbye good sir. But we just have to be really careful, we can't really overextend. Our Darius is 0 and 9, trying his hardest to, well, win the game. He's really not, he's actually trying to make us lose the game. But again, right now, the biggest priority in the game is to deny them to do anything with the Nashor. We did so by clearing the bot wave, making it walk into the enemy tower, so it takes so much extra time for them to be cleared. And here my Darius, for whatever reason, tries to yoink my camps, even though his champion is completely worthless, in a sense of his champion in this game will not do anything. There's just nothing he can do in the sense of reaching the enemy. He will lose sight at all times. There's nothing he can do. Even if he gets like 3,000 gold right now, he will still lose sight. He will not do anything in the side lane. The best he can do is just make sure that Fiora doesn't get a tier 3. Now Fiora walks up to him, Fiora will absolutely blast him, and here I hover for my Twisted Fate. I'm standing behind him in expectation, because I just saw a Kha'Zix, that the Kha'Zix might jump onto him and make a play. Now the same thing happens on mid lane, but I'll use my third ability again because I don't want to get too close because they can one-tap me. So I force the Pantheon to instantly use his oh shit button, and then I snap back. And now I'm repeating the same thing. I'm going towards the wave, my Twisted Fate stays mid lane, and I'm using my third ability into the brush before me, just so I don't get caught. This way I will always have a way of just getting back and not die. And here, since we already have one dragon, they can't possibly get soul, turning all their dragon stats completely into like worthless things that don't matter at all. And even if they got the dragon soul, it doesn't change how the game goes. And here again, we go forward, she doesn't riposte anything, and as she riposts, you can just wait enough for her to lock herself into the animation, then cast your spell in a way that it hits the moment she basically stops being invulnerable. Walking into a wall here, as beautiful as I can, the Pantheon ults up there for whatever reason, and we just play Human Scout here. We want to get the Scuttlecrab soon, but here's something again, we will kill this, we will get our Q3 stacked on this one, and then we'll move upwards. But for some reason our Nyla walks into this river again for no reason, but the Pantheon makes a signature mistake of overextending as well, and we instantly punish him. Now we go back to the Gromp, we stack our first ability again, wait for the Grievous Wound to disappear, use our Smite to heal up, and go over to hit the Lucian, but the Twisted Fate is already there as well with the Yuumi speed zooming around, and now it's just about wave clear again while hovering around. Like, I need to be aware of what's happening to my Twisted Fate, because I need to be able to back him up the way he moved. Like, he's basically giving away intent. And it's very important to understand what you can do. Leaving a control ward here, and now moving on the same line as Twisted Fate, like he's pushing them upwards. Since they're all low HP, I now invade the enemy jungle, come from another angle, and now the Echo will go in with a second ability, as you see, and I just one-tap him, because he doesn't see me come from the side. Now with the wave being in place, we just get this tower for free. It's only a mid-lane inhibitor, but yeah, it's not the best. It doesn't really do anything. We stun the Kha'Zix in Narnia, and I just want to make sure I don't get one-tapped. Now I go back to the bottom camps of him to sustain up. The goal here is to get as much health as possible and stay relevant so we can contest the tier 3 bottom tower. So I don't really know what my Darius is doing here. Instead of pushing the wave, he's trolling. Like, I don't know what he's doing. He's actively trying to lose the game. His item spec doesn't matter right now. And now Nyla should have let me Q these minions so I get my Q3 to go for a proactive play. Like, there's just so many things you can do to help your teammates perform. And Twisted Fate walks up, creates zone control. I just wait for that to happen. I turn, I deal damage, I now help him out. And we do basically, we just punish people on cooldown. Now I'll stack my spells again. I see the Lucian. Now I can go for a fun play. I just instantly tap him, he doesn't die, I Zhonya's, and we win the game. So now, let's just take a good look. Here. So, our top lane, Baron laner, was 0 and 10. Our AD carry, 5 and 12. Our Yuumi took a lot of time to actually start going to the right people. She stayed onto a Twisted Fate for a long time, which she shouldn't, because I was way stronger at that time. But since I can't just go anywhere because she's not on me, I will then be isolated if I go alone. I have to play way more passive. And you see, it's... even if these games happen, just one person on the team and a very good champion can make the difference. When you play this game, it is just, it's very frustrating to play, like these kind of games, because you're not allowed to really play, and you have to really hyper-scale into the late game, and you have to make sure to not make any mistakes, or many mistakes, like as little mistakes as possible. The gameplay will not look the flashiest, but you'll be very powerful in just understanding how you can punish people with the Q3 strategy on Yone, just being very creative with the way you play, covering so much distance without any risk involved, and then just snapping back. There's so many things you can do to help yourself playing jungle, and just being very consistent. Gold is basically everything in this game, and the more gold you have, the easier it is for you to carry, and then you have to put yourself in the right positions. So for example, you play the game, you gain gold, and you don't get anything done because you're never in the right position, but you have gold, then it doesn't really matter. But you learn how to gain gold, you learn how to get gold consistently, and then you learn how to impact the map by knowing what you can do with the gold. Invading at certain times, playing for certain objectives, approaching in certain manners, going for certain fights because you're strong enough so you can force things. All these things matter. And if you want to be consistent, you have to just take a look at how you clear your jungle and how much downtime you may have in the game. You do not want to have high downtime. You want to be up as much as possible, effective on the map, strong, influencing it. Even if it's just farming, it is something that will help you win the game. Because just take a look at my gold, and I was not really allowed to quote-unquote play with so many losing lanes and only Twisted Fate to play off of, and I invested so much into him early on with how I played, how I guarded him, how I just helped him. And I did that while clearing my jungle, combining multiple goals and multiple things in one action. And that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and come back for more RiftGuides content.